NATO summit, it is kicking off in The Hague today. Leaders are expected to pledge major increases to military spending. Now, this summit is coming, obviously, at a critical moment for the alliance, which is contending with a lot of things: a rapidly developing conflict in Iran, a relentless war in Ukraine, and a wavering United States. Joining me with more on this is Robert Baines. He's the president of the NATO Association of Canada. Good to talk to you today.
A pleasure.
So I want to start here because U.S. President Donald Trump just moments ago saying both Israel and Iran violating the ceasefire. Here's what he said outside of the White House before heading to the NATO summit. Take a listen to this.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
So obviously aggressive language. How will the situation that's unfolding in the Middle East, do you think, impact the dialogue that's happening at the summit?
Well, the main attempt is going to be to make sure that what's happening in the Middle East does not sidetrack the kind of relationships and the agreements that are already underway here at NATO. A NATO summit is always geared towards coming to an agreement. That means that every NATO nation, there's 32 of them, has to come to consensus on all sorts of different topics. And so to do that, as you'll appreciate, is remarkably difficult to get everybody on the same page about things as distant as cyber space, undersea cables, what's going on in Ukraine. All of these issues have to be agreed upon. So the moment an unstable element, something that's unexpected and that might divide the NATO nations, if that gets thrown in to these discussions, they could easily get sidetracked. It's always difficult to maintain unity, which is the greatest strength of NATO.
Yeah, it's tricky when you've got so many voices, of course, with so much going on. I want to ask you about Donald Trump, because NATO members, they're really trying to balance between, being less reliant on the U.S. for defense while also satisfying President Trump's demands for increased defense spending. So what sort of position does that leave members in?
This summit is potentially one of Donald Trump's greatest triumphs. When he became president for his first term, he was very dissatisfied with the level of defense spending at NATO and really started beating the drum to get NATO members to spend what they had already agreed upon in 2014, which is to spend 2% of GDP on their defense spending. And so now this summit, we will reach a point where every single member is forecasted to spend 2% of their GDP on defense. So, if there was the ability to have some kind of a ceremony to help recognize that, I think that's the kind of thing that Donald Trump could see as really his victory. And it is, although a lot of people may disagree with the way he's done it. And obviously the way that he conducts himself in a number of ways is antithetical to helping to create trust and to make sure that NATO's values are underlined. The fact that he was able to get NATO to spend 2% of GDP is amazing. So focusing on that, I think, will be the key to making sure that this is a successful summit.
Well, and we talk about that 2% target, but then I'm hearing NATO members are expected to pledge to spend 5% now on their GDP on defense at tomorrow's meeting. And Canada, as we know, we've been talking about, is on track to reach that 2% by next year. It feels, and we were talking about this morning, it feels like we're just playing catch up, because now if we've got to reach that 5%, what does that do, to our budget constraints as a country? How realistic is it for Canada to meet that 5% target within a decade?
It'd be very, very challenging. Be about $112 billion per year spent on defense and defense-related tickets. The one thing that Canada does have going for it is, of course, we have the Arctic, and we have an ambition to make sure that the Arctic is, well connected, that it is secure, and that it is thriving. So 1.5% of what the projected budget is that we are having agreed upon here at NATO, the 5%, 1.5% of that is on infrastructure, on defense-related issues such as AI, deep learning, communications technology, all of this, deep water ports, more airstrips or airfields in the Arctic, all of that could be poured into the Arctic for the betterment of Canada and so many of our interests, in addition to, of course, being part of our values of the rules-based international order and being part of an organization like NATO that helps to maintain that and to maintain its stability. So Canada may get a lot of cover to be able to develop a lot of what we've already wanted to do in the Arctic through this agreement that'll happen tomorrow.
Well, listen, that does sound promising the way that you've worded that, Robert Baines. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
A pleasure. Thanks so much.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.